Or we know that this one needs to drop down to the bottom, and then we could deal with it from there. What would you like to do? You want to do the subtracting one on this one? Okay. All right, so on this one, if we do the subtracting, I have a base of 3, and I have the top one is a -2, the bottom one is a 4, so -2 minus 4. I'm subtracting those exponents, right? That gives me 3 to the -6. Is that still a negative exponent?
Yes.
Can I have that? No. So I need to drop it and make it a positive exponent. You okay with that? And that answer is going to be, I think, 729? 1 over 729. Once again, notice it's a fraction. This one's kind of fun. Okay. What do you think is going to happen? What should we do with the -8? Yes, ma'am.
Subtract it from 6.
We could subtract. Well, you wouldn't subtract the 8 from the 6. You subtract the 6 from the 8. But let's just, instead of subtracting, since we did one example of subtracting, where would this one have to move to become positive?
The bottom.
The bottom. Where would this one have to move to become positive?
The top.
The top. So they could trade places and be positive. Then you could subtract them if you want. Or we could subtract them right now. It's up to you. What would you like to do? Just subtract them now? Or swap them and then subtract them? Swap them and then subtract them? Okay. Okay, so we're going to raise this one to the top, and it becomes 3 to the +6, right? This one, we're going to drop him to the bottom, and he's going to become 3 to the +8. You cool with that? Yeah? Now let's subtract them. So that means I have the base of 3 and 6 minus 8. So that means I have 3 to the -2. Darn it, I still have a negative. It was worth a try though, wasn't it, to get away from it? Oh well, it is what it is. So we got to drop it to the bottom and put a 1 on the top. And it's 1 over 9. Okay. That one was going to take a little bit of time, kind of either way you did it, honestly. But are you getting the idea? You just have to put it in the different spot to make it positive. All right, there are 5 great examples on the back. By the time you get done doing these 5 examples, you're going to feel better about it, I promise. Okay? Yeah, you will. Okay. So first things first, show your work, right? So I have a variable of g, and this g has a 3, and I'm dividing. So this one would have a 1. So it's g to the 3 minus a 1. And then I have a variable h, and it's to a 5 minus a 2. So once you've written out this part, now you can show me your final answer. G to the 2, h to the 3, final answer. That's not so bad, was it? Not too bad? Okay. Any questions on number 1? Move to number 2. I apologize, this should have been a 2 and it somehow disappeared. Okay, what will be the first thing we better do to this thing? No. Oprify it. Oprify it. You get a 1. You get a 1. Now y'all get 2's, right? We're going to multiply by 2 to everybody who's got an exponent. So we've got 3 to the 2nd power. What's p going to be? It's p to the 6th over 7 to the 2. 3 to the 2nd and 7 to the 2 are going to be normal numbers, right? So let's write those down. 3 to the 2nd is a 9. 3 times 3 is 9. P raised to the 6th, right? And what's 7 to the 2nd power? 49. Good. Nobody said 14. I'm so proud. Okay. Now, whenever you have normal numbers on the top and the bottom, always look to see if that could be like a fraction and be simplified, okay? Will 9 go into 49 in any way, shape, or form, or can they be reduced? No. So you're done. This is it. You're finished. That's all you can do. Okay? All right, let's move to number 3. Okay, what do you see that you might like to take care of? The 0. Goodbye. It's a 1. 1 and done. We don't need it anymore. Okay? Now, if that were the only thing on the top of my fraction, I might want to leave a 1 there so I remember it's a fraction. But if it's in the middle, it's just going to be multiplied, so 1 times this bunch of stuff is still going to just stay the same. So it's necessary, but not really necessary. All right, so now what's left? An x, and I'm going to go what? 5 minus 3, right? So my answer is going to be x to the second, and that's it. Times 1. I mean, 1, because this turned into a times 1. Is it really going to make any difference? No. No. Okay? All right, let's move over to number 4. What do you see happening there? All right, some negativity happening. Don't like negativity. Got to fix it. So what has to happen on this one? We got some things that need to trade locations, don't they? All right, so there's the fraction bar because we're going to be bouncing around here. Where does this n to the negative 5 need to go to become a positive 5? To the bottom. So this is going to go down. So I'm going to have an n to the positive 5. What about the p to the 4? Is he negative? He's happy. As long as he's positive where he lives, I think of him in their building as their house. They either don't like where they live or they do like where they live. He's happy where he's living. He's going to stay on the upper story. He's not happy living in the basement. He's going to rise up. Okay? So the R has a negative 2, but he wants to be positive. So he wants to move upstairs. We're good. Now, is there anything that can be simplified beyond this? Do I have any matching variables of any type? No, you're done.
Does it matter the order?
You know, it should be alphabetical, but I'm not going to count off. You'll see most of the answers will be arranged alphabetically. I won't count off for that. Probably an Algebra 2 teacher will, because you will have been doing it long enough that you should know better by now. Okay, so it's practice trying to put it in alphabetical order, but I'm not going to count off if you don't. Okay, now let's do number 5. What? Who is this lady? She hates us. Okay. All right, let's start with our numbers first. 2 over 10. That's just a fraction, right? What would it simplify to? 1 over 5. Perfect. So now you took care of this stuff, right? Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I teach this part a little different than other teachers. I was very confused when I was learning this because my teacher didn't do it this way, and I didn't know, well, do I put it on the top? Do I put it on the bottom? I don't know where to put it. I'm telling you, put all of your mathematics, all of the subtracting of the exponents business in the numerator. Just do all the math in the top, calculate it. Then if anything turns out to be negative that's in the top, drop it to the bottom and you'll be done. It makes it much simpler if you just calculate everything to the top and see what the results are. Okay, I promise. So I did the fraction, and now I'm going to look at my variables. I have an a, and it's a positive 2. Don't forget your minus sign, and then the negative 3. You see what I'm saying? Let's go to the b values now. I have a positive 3, I have a minus sign, and then I have the negative 1. I have a c, and it had a negative 5 minus this negative 4. Are you happy with what we've done so far? Here's what I was talking about. Do all your math calculations. Now, don't move anything around. Let's just do the math on the exponents first. This is going to turn into a what? 2 minus a minus becomes a plus, so this is going to be a 5. Okay. 3 minus a minus becomes a plus, so this becomes a 4, and then a negative 5 plus 4 is a negative 1. Aha! Now you know exactly who is going to drop to the bottom, right? So you can rewrite your answer and be done with it. So I have a 1 on the top, and I have an a to the 5th, b to the 4th. On the bottom, I have a 5 and a c and a positive 1. See how it's easy to tell who goes on the top and who goes on the bottom? If they're positive, they stay up top. If they're negative, they drop. Yes, sir. No, sir. It was in the top, and it's negative, and I cannot have a negative exponent in my final answer, so this had to drop to the bottom so that it could become positive. Okay? That's the real important part. We good with that idea? Now I'm going to try to trick you. Don't fall for it. Okay, what would move here? What needs to be trading places? Am I going to move the 6? Am I going to move the m? Yes. Why am I not moving the 6? I see a minus sign. It's not on the exponent. You can have negative numbers all you want wherever they are. You can't have a negative exponent. So the only item that would be moving here would have been the m. Okay? Be careful, because that's going to happen to you in the problems, and I didn't want you to get caught. We good? All right. All right. Good job.